Our country. Joining us now, Jonas. He's a student at Columbia University, gentleman there on the right. Also with us, Nick Chimicles. He's also a student at Columbia, as well as a senior editor of the campus publication, the Columbia Sundial. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I'll start off with both of a question to both of you. Do you feel safe? I mean, because clearly you're not joining in these protests. You worked really hard to get into this Ivy League school. Now you can't go to class anymore. You got people just spewing all this venom and hatred. I mean, this college experience should be the best time of your lives, and yet you're fearing for your lives. So, Jason, you go first. Are you scared to go to school?
Yeah, it's Jonas. And what I will say is that it is a little bit disappointing that the last week of class has gone virtual, that final exams have gone virtual, that we're not getting the full college experience. You know, a lot of my friends have flown home. They've booked tickets to go home because there's no point on staying on campus if there's no campus life anymore in these last few weeks of school. And so a lot of people are saying, you know, why do we pay such expensive tuition to go to the school if the school can't control student safety? And I think thankfully for us, we haven't felt that unsafe, but neither of us are Jewish. And what a lot of my Jewish peers have been saying is that it is unsafe to go on campus. They've been told to, you know, take virtual classes, don't go to class in person, take virtual exams. And so I think it really calls into question, you know, what are the priorities of this administration?
Nick, what do you think?
The reality is that most of these people are soft liberal snowflakes. Even though they talk a big game, they're big Hamas supporters and whatnot, I really don't think they have the gumption to do anything serious.
You know, calls are growing for Columbia University President Shafiq to step down. How do you guys feel the university has handled these protests? I mean, they've been trying to negotiate with them. Shafiq, she testified before Congress and said she wasn't aware that they were anti-Semitic. And then, you know, I mean, clearly they're anti-Semitic and they hate Jews. So what did you think about Shafiq? Does she need to stand down? Jonas, you can go first.
So my perspective on President Shafiq is that she has just shown a lack of leadership in general. So last week, she arrested protesters one day after the encampment was set up. A lot of people said that was, you know, an example of decisive action. A lot of students didn't like that because they didn't like having the NYPD on campus. And now what she is saying today is that she and the administration, because of the blowback of calling the NYPD on, they've now decided they're not going to ever consider that as an option again. So we don't really know how this is going to end. This could go on until graduation and impact Columbia's commencement ceremony for our current seniors, which would be highly disappointing. And, you know, they're trying to negotiate. They're saying we're not going to leave until Columbia divest. What I think will happen is that there is no way Columbia agrees to divest, especially in that short of a time frame. So we really don't know, you know, where this is going to go from here.
Nick, I can tell you're not a liberal snowflake. Do you ever get worried about the way you talk? Could people? I feel like, you know, if you wore a MAGA hat, what would happen to you if you were to say you guys are liberal snowflakes? Are you afraid sometimes about speaking out against the radical left?
Yeah, I don't know about a MAGA hat, but I do have a 5 by 8 foot American flag that I brought out onto campus the other day with the pro-Israel protesters, and felt fine. You know, pretty confident in myself, but. You know, I did fear for some of the pro-Israel protesters. They were getting harassed throughout the protests.
So we played a little bit of his clip earlier. I want to play it again. Just take a listen. I want you both to one of the organizers of the pro-Hamas protests at your university, seen in this video. Take a look.
I don't fight to injure or for there to be a winner or a loser. I fight to kill. See y'all in New York, January 2024.
So that's specifically what we're going to be discussing today. Do you see why that's problematic in any way?
No, there should not be Zionists anywhere. The meeting's a joke. They definitely were hoping that I was going to walk back the I fight to kill.
So he's trans as well, and news now breaking light last night that he's been booted from Columbia. So what do you think about that? The fact that he's, like, you know, talking about killing, there should be no Zionists. Do you think that was the right move to kick him out of school?
Well, the thing is, we don't even know whether he's been suspended or expelled. All we know is that he's been, you know, suspended from campus. For all we know, he could be back in the fall, continuing to say things like this. So I think this raises the larger question of what is going on in the admissions room of elite universities. Are they aware that people like this are coming in to campus? And the thing is that there are tweets from when Kamani was in high school saying things like, "I hate all white people," and yelling that at a school board meeting, at a Boston school board meeting where he's from. And so I think it raises a really big question about like, what exactly are these elite universities looking for?
And let me get your reaction to this, Nick. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, she's been quite outspoken. She was, about rallying. What do you think about this? She's kind of been supportive of the pro-Hamas protesters. This is a sitting member of Congress supporting anti-Semitic protesters. What do you think about this?
Yeah, obviously I'm not a big fan of AOC. Really don't appreciate her being on my campus personally. But yeah, I just would say that she definitely needed to be careful where she was walking in the encampment because it is disgusting in there. I've been walking through it, interviewing people and whatnot, and it's really a pigsty, just total disorder, and God knows what they're doing in the tents. So yeah, I think a sitting member of Congress supporting this sort of thing is disgusting.
Real quick question before I let you guys go. How upset are your parents at all of this? Because, I mean, the school costs a lot of money. They put a lot into your education. You guys worked really hard to get into a really good school. I'm sure they don't want this for you. So they must be upset. Jonas, upset for you.
Yeah, well, the first thing is they're obviously, as my parents, they're concerned for my safety. There's, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine protests going on every single night around campus. And so they're texting me, they're calling me, being like, are you sure it's safe? Are you sure you want to continue like trying to report on these? So they're first of all concerned for my safety, but also my mother, was calling me the other day and saying like, I heard you're going virtual, right? Like, well, I remember when you were virtual back in high school during COVID. You didn't learn anything from that. That wasn't very good. So yeah, they are disappointed in this, and the tuition sticker price is not helping that.
Nick, I mean, why can't you guys get a refund a little bit?
I would hope so. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the year's basically ended right now. All the exams are virtual, which basically means free points, with LLMs and whatnot. So yeah, it just seems like school's over, and my parents are very disappointed in that.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Stay safe. All right, as a presidential